Okay. Last week, we talked about the law of attraction. We talked about the power of visualizing what you want, visualizing your dreams and your goals, thinking about what that looks like, and how the law of attraction then works to actually create that. And we looked at what the law of attraction is about, and we looked at how Conor McGregor uses it, and how he constantly visualized what he wanted to actually achieve. And then when it actually came about, it just happened to come about in things. And he talked about putting his goals out there and actually telling people what he wanted and things. And in terms of Muhammad Ali, this is exactly what Muhammad Ali was doing. Right? He was visualizing. You could tell, when he was very young, you watch those old videos of him, and he's constantly going on about how he's going to be the greatest. I'm the greatest. I'm this. I'm that. Before he was even anywhere near that, before he was even a heavyweight champ or had a title fight, he was talking about being that and things. And that's law of attraction stuff. And that's exactly what Conor McGregor did. He put it out there. When you put your goals out there and you verbalise them and put them out on offer for everyone to see, right? It makes you accountable for you saying it. Nobody really wants to be saying things they're going to do and then actually not do it. But when you actually say that you are going to do something and you tell people you are going to do something, that gives you accountability. All right? So that's kind of why I did that. Now, we then also talked about that to actually achieve what you actually want to achieve, the law of attraction, you have to have self-efficacy, which basically means belief in yourself, and you have to have self-esteem. And self-esteem basically means worth. All right? And Muhammad Ali had belief in himself. When he's saying all this stuff, he actually believed he could do it. He was saying what he was going to do, and he was making all these massive goals and saying all these great achievements that he was going to do, but he actually then had to believe he could do that. All right? And if he didn't believe he could do it, all right, he obviously wasn't going to be able to do it. And in terms of self-esteem, he seriously believed that he had worth. He had, within society, he wanted to make a change, and that what he could offer was important, and what he said was important, and he'd put himself out there, and he was not shy to express his viewpoints and think that he was important to other people. All right, and that's why he made a difference socially. And some people say he was one of the greatest promoters of the civil rights and the change for black people in the 1960s and 70s. He was a civil rights leader, and his greatest achievements were not in the ring, it was outside the ring, and how he managed to change people's lives for the better. All right, so self-esteem is your worth amongst people. All right, and we all have this feeling about how much worth we have, all right, how much credibility we have, how important we think we are amongst other people. All right, sometimes we believe we have a lot of worth, and we express our opinions freely, and we try and do things for people, and we actually believe we are important. And on other occasions, we maybe don't feel we're that important. And it's very obvious when I sit here because I ask for people's opinions. And some people freely give me an opinion. Someone like Winter will give me an opinion quite easily. She obviously believes that she has worth amongst this group and that she has an opinion that counts. And other people will just say nothing. And even if they do have an opinion, they won't actually think it's that important. And they might just sit there and not actually cope with that. Muhammad Ali was always quick to put his opinion across. He believed his opinion carried worth. It demonstrates high level of self-esteem. Belief's another important thing. Do you actually believe that you can do this thing that you have this picture of? Because if you believe you can, you'll do it. There's this great quote from Henry Ford. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. If you believe you can, if you think you can do something or you believe you can't do it, you're right. Either way, you're going to be right. And this is all about being successful. Successful and happy. That's what dictates your success and your happiness. Now, if you suffer from low self-efficacy or belief, or low self-esteem and worth, right, there are things you can do about it. There are strategies that you can do to actually improve these things. And Muhammad Ali was a classic example of this. All right, now the first strategy, all right, and I'm going to write some of this stuff up. To improve these things, the first strategy is optimistic self-talk. Self-talk is the conversations that you have with yourself. Right now, you're having a conversation with yourself. Right? Right now, you're telling yourself, oh, this is boring, or this sucks, or I'm so tired, or, you know, I don't want this, or blah, blah, blah. There will be a conversation that you're having. And it's either optimistic or it's pessimistic. But if it's pessimistic, you will find that you'll talk yourself out of things. You'll say, I don't want to do this, boring, I'm tired, I want to sleep, or what am I doing here? And you'll talk yourself out of doing things, or you tell yourself you can't do things. You tell yourself it's not worth it, or you tell yourself these things. But the optimistic self-talk is actually where you're talking yourself into it. Oh, this is going to be fun, I can do this, I can cope, this is enjoyable, I'm learning, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you're positive about something, you'll enjoy it, and you'll actually find you'll probably do it. And when you have your setbacks, because we all have setbacks, we have little problems, we find little hurdles we have to overcome on the way to achieving a goal. But if you're optimistic about it, you'll find your way around those setbacks. Now, I just had a Year 10 class, all right, and you know, the optimist, and some people, like, for example, I set them their work, I wrote it up on the board, it was very clear instructions, and some people just sit there, and, you know, I said, get your Chromebooks out, and they just sat there. And I said, well, why aren't you doing your work? Oh, well, I haven't got a Chromebook. And I said, what are you doing about that? You know, because they just sat there, oh, I can't do it, I haven't got a Chromebook. Pessimistic. Right? I said, well, what are you going to do about that? And they said, well, can't do anything. I just haven't got a Chromebook. I said, what can you do about it? Because an optimistic person will find a solution to that. Because optimistic people think about solutions. Pessimistic people think about problems. Right? Do you get what I'm saying? So that self-talk is so vital. It has to be optimistic. We know that successful people are optimistic. Muhammad Ali, incredibly optimistic. He just talks positively about what's going to happen and how he can, and hurdles he didn't care about, you know. He just didn't see them as being hurdles. He just kept overcoming those setbacks by that self-talk. It was so obvious that he had optimistic self-talk. Right? So that's the first thing. Right. Any questions about self-talk? Don't underestimate that your conversations, the most important conversations you'll ever have in your life, are the conversations that you have with yourself. You have many more conversations with yourself than you do anyone else. You can't stop having a conversation with yourself. You just can't stop it. It just happens all the time. Every minute of every day, you'll have conversations with yourself. And they're either optimistic or they're pessimistic. All right? Next thing. Goal setting.
Okay, so what are the
Having very clear pictures in your head about what you want things to look like. And they can either be short term, they can be medium term, or they can be long term. By the end of this period, you might have a little picture in your mind about what you wanted to have achieved, or what goal you want to have of that. By the end of the day, you have a very clear picture. All right? By the end of this year, what does your year look like? What does your achievement? Having very clear pictures. Now, you get taught goal setting by goal settings taught to you that you have to write this down and make a goal, and you just kind of do it. But goal setting is just having a picture in your mind, all right, about what you actually want to have happen to you. And goal setting is short term, it's medium term, and long term. And when I was young, I used to probably be like you guys, and I didn't want to hang out with my family and things. I used to always want to be in my room and things. And my mum was a very clever lady, and she never actually minded that, because she knew that when I was in my room, I was actually goal setting. And I was actually thinking, I was visualising what I wanted, visualising what that looked like. And having that picture about what your future looks like is really important, because then you actually, once you have that picture, you'll start working towards it, won't you? All right? But if you have no picture, you're screwed. Okay? And this is the problem with teenagers. You lose that picture often. You lose that vision about what you want to happen to you. And when you don't know what you want to happen to you, you don't have an idea of what the future is, all right, then you have nothing to work towards. But when you're really clear on that future, then it's really easy to work towards something. Like when I worked in Kiradu Park last year, those young kids, those 7-year-olds, they all know what they want to do. They all have really clear pictures about what they want. And sometimes obviously they change over the years, but the point is that they do have a clear picture, and that's a goal. They want to be a truck driver or something, or an astronaut maybe, but it's a picture, and it's a clear picture. And they work hard at school. They try their best. They understand that this is and things, and we've got to make sure that we maintain that picture and that vision, okay? And that's what goal setting is. All right? So goal setting ensures that we develop belief in worth. Okay, it's very important. Couple other things. Gratitude statements are a good one. A gratitude statement's simple. You think about all the things that you're happy about and all the things that you're grateful about. All right? I'll tell you something. I write down 5 things. I just write down 5 things every single night before I go to bed. I put on my phone. And I write down, and sometimes they're silly things. Sometimes I'm just grateful for sunny days or warm weather, or I'm grateful that I've just had a nice meal, or I'm grateful for this, or I'm grateful for that. And sometimes I just repeat it every night. Sometimes I'm grateful for the same things every night. And all of a sudden now you go to bed, and you're going to bed without optimistic thoughts. You're thinking positively. Gratitude is like what you are grateful for. It's exactly that. All right? And now it ensures that you maintain optimistic self-talk, all right, and you're not actually finishing the day pessimistically, thinking bad things, all right, and it's a really good exercise to ensure that you do that, all right, and that in turn then enhances your belief in yourself and your self-worth as well, all right, and it's a very personal thing. You wouldn't share it with anyone, but as I keep telling you, the most important conversations you have are the ones with yourself. All right, and that determines whether you're successful and happy. All right, other people don't determine that. Success is not determined by other people. Success is it's the understanding that you are in control of what happens to you. Okay, because that's what belief is. Self-efficacy is that you understand that everything that happens is because of you. All right, there's a couple others. I'll just check my thing here. Sorry, just give me a second. Oh, here's a good one. Accepting compliments people give. Accepting compliments. This is a classic one. Real problem for this class. I think you all have an issue with this. Every single one of you, I have written something very positive on your work that you have done so far this year. Right, every single one of you. Now, I've put things like, this is great writing. Or I've put something like, for some of you, I put down, these ideas are fantastic ideas that you've got. Or I've put, your effort has been well done in your effort. Your effort has been outstanding. And I've all put and I've done it written, I've done it via written form, or I've done it via, I've probably also done it verbally as well. I've probably done it both. Now, how many of you actually realise that? All right, and I suggest that some of you actually have never realised that I've given you compliments. All right, and to improve your belief in yourself and your worth, all right, compliments you get, you've got to accept them. You've got to say, hold on, that person's just given me a compliment. They've just said I'm good, or I'm this, or I'm that. As a compliment, you acknowledge that. I've been given this compliment. You take it in. And that enables you to grow, And all of a sudden now your belief in yourself increases and your feeling of worth increases. All right? And I think a lot of you miss compliments that people give. Like I've got this year 10 student who I have having real troubles with, and I'm always giving him compliments because I actually quite like him. But I'm tough on him because I am strict, especially on the juniors. And I have high expectations of them. And he had an issue, and he told the deputy principal that, but Mr. Borland doesn't like me, and things. And because in his belief, he's formed this belief that he can't overcome that I don't like him, right, and things. And I said, hold on, look at all this stuff I've put on his work, all these nice things, all these compliments. I say this, I do that. And he's not accepting any compliments I give him. It's just not registering with him. So it's very important we accept compliments. And a really good way of doing that is to, let's say I leave a comment on your work. Thank you, Mr. Borland, for that. Or someone gives you a compliment. Thank you for that, sir. That's really nice to hear. Or someone else gives you a compliment. You just thank them for what they're saying. And you know what? When you give compliments to someone and they thank you for the compliment you've given them, guess what? They'll probably give you more compliments, won't they? But if they give you a compliment, you just go, like this. Feel uncomfortable about this. I don't like getting compliments. Right? You know what? Probably won't give you any more compliments because you seem very uneasy about getting compliments. Do you follow that? Correct. And if you've got friends, and if you've got people that you care about, family, whoever it is, right, give them compliments. Because that then builds up their belief in their worth. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, these are all things that you can do. These are all what are they? Strategies that you can use. Strategies. Now, part of the reason I'm telling you level 3's this is because you're doing an assessment on strategies to improve your performance. And we've looked at physical strategies, but you know what? Mental strategies as well. And when you're doing that thing out there, that we're doing that game out there like we were doing yesterday, and you've got to mark someone, you have a little conversation in your brain, and you say to yourself, I can either do this, or that person's too fast, what am I doing? And there's a lot of that in this class. Right? There's a lot of self-talk, either optimistic or pessimistic. And when you're optimistic, you'll probably find that you actually play really well. And if you think you can, you will. And if you think you can't, you probably won't. And you'll probably give up easy, and you'll stop playing, or you're not setting yourself high goals, your expectation of yourself's low, and you're not being successful or happy. But the people that are being optimistic with their self-talk out there yesterday are probably being very successful and very happy and enjoying themselves. Right, does that make sense? Right, I'm going to stop that now. I'm going to put